So, what a Zeyngen is part of the exodus media of today's culture that declines the ability of profit to relay access on utility values. So, if utility is a copyright of a welcoming on a loan that displaces the capital of a state value. These estates are shuffled into a medium of Marxist and communist. And communists are the united, while the Marxists are the peripheral units to the classical units of spectrum to analytic union. So if there is a synthesis on a ratio to the left wing of a unified specimen, a specimen trademark is made that allows for a asset to manufacture loans from guaranteed structures within it. So if a praxis is manufactured from a protocol, protocol is gained upon the ability to manufacture the nexus of themselves onto other people. And these other people don't primarily serve them, but on themselves earn court agreements for other people to serve the adjudication of the contracts that serve other people. So they do not serve the loans, they serve the outcomes of the loan. So this is important when dealing with two-sided parties because there's a retraction on the basis of utility for who gets to have a roster an alliance to the diplomatic party of a denomination or a cathedral. So cathedrals are built upon the ability to relay information onto anodes that do not input but relay back information to the state. And these state actors are still in effect, but they are in proximity to self itemization to the state serving under the proximity banner. And these banners are catechisms for entering the church, but they are also welcome mats for serving the church itself for the enterers themselves. So they are adjusted to these scenarios well enough to understand that they are under detection. So, for proximity to serve the ability to have a alignment to a court internment contract is to have a proximity to sensor on top of a building of two modulators that don't agree with one another, which would be a primary and a secondary axis. So these are how majors form. So a modulator may alter the ability to change states, but a major changes its form itself to allow for other people to be expensed as its capital. So itself is being modulated as a asset rather than capital asset, and its modulation is a feature of its ability to conform to its modulator. So the modulator is the ability to form the object, and the modulation is the object being received. So if these objects retain their jurisdiction as tools in the market, they do not just dissolve to unsovereign units, they are displaced as material artifices for copy and lesion. And lesion bleeds the pool into property assets rather than capital assets that don't retain but adjust rates to features of unsolved economic processes that don't adjust to markets. They retain features of the state that don't protocol with the government. So, if the government is to be retained in these systems, not only do state actors have to displace majors, the majors have to be able to form primary units of control around a central denomination called the cathedral. And the cathedral builds the church on the state that does not have an actor on it. And the actors are central and reciprocal in location and addressed to whoever controls the state action. And these state actions are modulation to the action themselves that do not act, but in turn to court acting as actors to serve as axis to denominations of the majoring of denominations rather than the axis of denominations themselves, which would be to be a anarchy.